Lee, I need your help. I need a death scream from you, or at least a horrible injured scream. Your character in Vampires Needed is terribly injured by demonic flames. And so I would like you, whenever you feel ready, to give us a good old-fashioned aye scream as you are consumed in flames. Whenever you're ready.
Okay.
I love it. I love it.
Is this going to be in the actual cut of Chafing Armor?
Oh, you better believe it is. Yes, this is totally going in the podcast as well. And y'all go ahead and listen up for Vampires Needed. There's a fantastic scene where Lee's character gets to beat up my character. But now, on with the show. Chafing Armor Podcast, episode 38, Death Scream. Welcome back to the Chafing Armor Podcast. I'm your host and Rollin' Dungeon Master Michael Corley, and with me tonight is Izzy. Izzy, tell everyone who you are playing.
Marezi Mugra, a large and unsociable half-orc barbarian.
That's right. Anyone who is not bigger than her, they are small men, both men and women. And,
definitely.
And also with us today is Lee. Lee, tell everyone who you will be playing.
G'day everyone, I'm Lee. I'm playing Osakai, the Shifter Ranger with a string of incredible luck for some reason.
Yes, both good and bad. At one point making you half the man that you used to be. And also with us is James. James, tell everyone who you are playing.
Oh my god, hi guys, how you doing? Oh my god, it's James. I'm totally playing a spell scale sorcerer, and we're all 4th level. It's totally awesome, and yeah.
That's a personal attack on the way I talk and the way my friends talk.
It's how you interpret it. It's up to you. That's your lens that you have to deal with. I'm sorry.
Oh my god, James. How could you be so insensitive?
Anyway, yeah, I'm playing a spell scale sorcerer, yeah.
And finally, last but certainly not least, except in stature, is Dare. Dare, tell everyone who you are playing.
I am playing Tix, the Gnome Cleric, and I am the caretaker of this motley band of tall people.
Well, you certainly took care of some spiders. When last we left our characters, they had landed in the continent of Hyboria and in the large port city of Masgate, with some various things happening, armor being dropped off, jewelry being distributed, and ending with Zuana, the wood elf, coming in and saying that you are all going to die. But I want to tell you something real quick. There was a reason that the Island of Death was called the Island of Death, and it had nothing to do with 3 hags. Before the 3 hags took over, there was actually a necromancer, a high elf who wanted nothing but to be alone, and he walked on that island for years, and he had only one companion. He had a boar that followed him everywhere, and he would leave little bits behind, and that boar would pick it up, and some would say that he picked up some of the magic from that necromancer. And this went on for years and years, until a certain hag came and drove a silver spike through his head. But we'll come back to that later. Now, I want to see if anyone would like to say anything to Zuana, who has just pronounced that you are all going to die.
We'll see about that. What's the threat?
Oh, the threat is not inconsequential. I have been doing some reconnaissance, and I have been to the local bunting. Does anyone recall what a bunting is in this world?
I was going to say, it's the stuff you hang on, around curtains, isn't it?
It most certainly is in our world, and in fact that shape is where the name comes from in this world, is that curved shape. It is, in fact, a underground dwelling, tavern, and many other things that is often outside of large cities. It is where the orcs and ogres and trolls and other creatures that would be killed on sight coming into a city tend to congregate. And Zuana is telling you that she has just come from one.
So, did you, say something stupid to an orc?
No, I try to keep my stupidity with orcs to present company. She
Ouch.
glares at you.
I don't think Morezi regrets anything.
I don't think Morezi actually understood that barb.
Probably not.
That's right. I would be much more insulted if I knew what that was.
I would be much more insulted if I, the person, knew what that was, but
Wait, she's talking to Barb? I thought she was talking to Zuana.
While I was there, I overheard of the acceptance of a contract for assassination. A contract of assassination for a gnome, a shifter, a half-orc, and a spell-scale sorcerer with his staff.
Well, I feel sorry for those guys.
Same.
sounds like
Yeah.
a different adventuring party. But go off.
I'm just getting in a relationship. I don't have time to be assassinated.
Well, it certainly seems like they have time to assassinate you. Was not able to stay long. I was afraid I would be spotted when they were leaving. But I saw that they were drow.
Zuana,
Oh,
That's
the
totally
dark-
unrelated to...
The dark elves are always a problem.
Yes,
Osakai.
you are most correct.
Osakai would like to get Zuana's attention.
Okay?
Zuana, you have been with us the entire time. They did not mention you.
No, they did not. They only mentioned all of you. Apparently, I did not warrant a death sentence.
Well, I can see why they'd be after me since I have the staff.
They'd be after me because I'm in their way.
Well, only half in their way.
You beat me to it, James.
Any speed bump in the road of life.
Right.
Pharaoh, who came in just before Zuana, says, "Hey guys, I was actually coming in to say that I'd been in the local tavern and I'd overheard that there was drow about. That's what I was coming in to tell you guys about."
Well, I
Well, that's
guess we
not
don't
good.
have to worry about them in the daytime.
No, they're not too big on the daytime. They tend to, not do so well. It is overcast right now, but I still don't think they likes it too much.
Or when it's raining,
And-
don't they melt in the rain or something? I don't know.
I think you're thinking of something more green.
Ah,
I would like everyone to make a perception check.
perception.
It's not perception.
Nope.
No, it's just a flat roll.
Well, I got a 19, so I guess it doesn't matter.
16
Everyone
for
else?
me for ticks.
Only an 8 for me, so I'm clueless.
And a 12 from me.
Okay. Well, it might have something to do with the fact that Morezi is very bored with this conversation and that you happen to be poking your head out the window. You see a figure hooded and cloaked, wrapped head to toe in dark clothing, and it is slowly making its way towards the hut. It is carrying something in its hand, but you can't make out what it is.
I turn to the others. There's a humanoid coming our way. I don't think he wants to make friends.
Where?
Outside of the hut, down the path, he is covering his body in clothes, and not just in a modest way. I suspect that he is covering his clothes to cover his identity.
Aha, very astute.
Regular Sherlock gnome.
Wouldn't this figure still stand out though, given everybody else is normal, but this is covered in rags and other stuff to conceal itself? It's not really going to conceal itself very well. And if it allowed Morezi to see it,
Well,
I
it's
think
certainly
you're trying to insult me.
Well, certainly a figure coming down the road, even if it's stealthily in the middle of the day, covered all in dark clothing, is very, very conspicuous. But, another thing to remember, you are in a very weird, large city, and there's lots of weird things. And also, y'all are in a chicken hut. So it's not actually the weirdest thing on this street.
Okay, I just can I roll a
Well, we see it now since she pointed it out.
yeah?
Mhm.
Can I roll
It's-
a spot? I want to see this for myself.
Okay.
I'm going to go out the door to the left of the figure.
Okay.
That's a 19 on the die plus 3, so that's 22.
With a 22, you catch a glimpse of what is in its hand. What is in its hand is not a weapon, but it is some kind of scroll or parchment that is rolled up.
I will make this information known to people and tell
It's
them
an elder
that maybe
scroll.
they're a little on edge, and just to kind of tone it down a bit.
Tix, you make your way outside and you can see this figure. It is walking, keeping to the shadows, keeping to the darker areas of the street where the sun is overcast, and it is an overcast day, and it is making its way towards the hut.
I go put myself in its front of its path. What are you doing?
It stops and turns towards you and reaches and pulls back its hood to reveal Loft, the co-owner of the ship.
What are you doing down here, scallywag?
Yes, scallywag. Interesting turn of phrase.
It's appropriate.
I have come to deliver a bill. And he holds out a parchment to you.
For what? We are already squared away with your captain.
You are most correct. You booked passage on our ship, and in return provided services which were quite valuable, of protection in exchange for free room and boarding across the Sand Swallow Seas. However, our ship was damaged recently by 2 vermin that escaped from your vehicle. And as you will, I'm sure, know, any vermin that escapes from cargo is the responsibility of the owner. The ship was damaged to the point that it is going to have to be moved into dry dock to properly patch its inner hull.
And what did your captain, one of my personal friends, say about your request?
Interesting you should say. Point of clarity, Duncan is co-owner of the vessel. It is Captain Jackson, who is... You sense Loft is quite the pedant. And Duncan actually convinced me, and he is very unhappy with that word, that I should reduce your charges due to the fact of you, Tix, for it was you who both killed the 2 vermin and restored her to health from her injury from these creatures. I will leave this with you to rectify. I expect payment upon the morning of the next day, and I wish you all the very best in your, and he gestures, vehicle, and he turns to walk away. And he covers himself back up. Clearly, he's not a fan of the sun.
I go step in front of him. What is your problem, Loft? Why are you hiding from the sun?
I am extremely sensitive to the sun. I do not typically travel on the boats that we own. However, business necessitated my travel to Massgate, and I did not have time to take the long way around, and I had no choice but to do so.
And so, what was your business that you went to these out-of-the-way places and just happened to cross our paths?
My business is my own. However, if you must know, I own 5 ships with Duncan, and it is required for us to see to their maintenance, to see to their crew, to see to their cargo, and to see that they actually make it into port unmolested by pirates or denizens of necromancy, as you have seen.
And really, you would be useful in that.
I am very useful at making sure that this company turns a profit which no one else seems to take into account. If you have no other business, I will leave you with your hut, and I will expect payment on the morrow. Gold is preferred, but I will accept other forms of payment.
After I examine the bill and examine the ship, I will take your thoughts into consideration. You're dismissed. And I turn and walk away.
Ooh, he does not like that. He does not like that one little bit. And he huffs and and makes his way back.
I unscroll the bill, unroll the scroll, and look at the bill and examine what demands the little man is making.
It is in very flowery language.
That is rich coming from Tix.
Yes. Very flowery language, very technical, very lawyerly, but what it is saying in essence is that the cabin for the owner was damaged and the inner hull was damaged, and because of the taking on of water and the extra fees, the total bill is actually 1,000 gold. However, it says underneath, for services rendered, it has been reduced to 500 gold.
That seems a little bit unreasonable.
Can I make the assumption that this has been made known to the rest of the party so that I can comment on this in character voice as I am trying to do more?
Yes. I brought it back to the hut and showed everybody and explained my exchange with Loft.
I propose that we find the dark elves that are trying to kill us and see if they have money on them. It would be killing 2 goblins with 1 spear.
I understand that illustration.
I don't. It is a suggestion.
Did it say what the damages were? Because I might be able to fix them myself.
Oh, the poison of the spider.
It was like
Awesome.
acid damage.
Oh, so just some holes in the wood.
Yes.
I could fix that myself for free.
Osakai is done with this and takes the letter and tears it to shreds.
Oh well. I guess I'm definitely doing it for free then.
Sure. Before we go look for the dark elves, let's go see to dear Duncan's needs, and then we will find out where these elves are hiding.
Okay. Where is Osokai going?
Osakai is going to talk to Zuana some more.
Okay, so are y'all going in the hut, or are y'all going to walk? How's that going to work?
I might be more efficient to take the hut. I mean, but it might be. I don't know. Is it busy streets right now? I don't want to step on people, that sort of thing.
Well, you feel confident enough with the hut that you're not worried about normal transport unless there was just like an incredible crowd of people or something.
Okay.
And it being a chicken leg walking hut, most people are probably going to move out of the way anyway.
True that.
Oh, yeah.
True
So
that.
they can stare at it as it walks past.
Well, yes. Well, we need to make more of a name for ourselves, I think. So let's take the hut through town to the docks.
So y'all boom, 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 make your way towards. Pharaoh actually excuses himself, perhaps because this has something to do with a large sum of money and he doesn't want to be involved. He says if y'all need him, he'll be at the local tavern. Let's go to Osokai and Zuana. Y'all step aside to a alleyway where you can speak in somewhat private. What would you like to say?
Zuana, where is this bunting? We should return and scope.
That is exactly what I was thinking. How to be crass, how long can you maintain your shifted form?
Let's see. So a round is 6 seconds, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So once per day for a number of rounds equal to 3 plus my constitution modifier. So 3 plus 2. So 5. 30 seconds. It's long enough.
Oh, yeah. It is quite sufficient in the battle. However, I am saying for the purposes of disguise, we may look at other options. Let us go. And with that, let us cut back to the chicken hut as it's boom, 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 going through the streets, and you hear people calling and people screaming and people pointing and small children going,
Mummy, there's a chicken walking on a hut.
and so on and such forth. And you actually see a bard standing outside of a local tavern, and he's looking at y'all, and he begins to compose a song to the chicken-legged hut. And
Fantastic.
I'll let you it's not the most appropriate song you could imagine, but it's catchy. As y'all make your way back to the docks, boom, 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 and you arrive. Would anyone like to name the ship? I've never actually named the ship. Who would like to name it?
Oh,
piss
golly.
I was gonna say the SS Prospero because I've been rereading Series of Unfortunate Events, but that might be copyrighted.
It might indeed. So let's go with Lee. Say that again.
You probably don't want to go with piss whistle.
Yep.
Let's do the piss whistle.
Yeah, but we sure are. It's the piss whistle. So you make your way back to the piss whistle, and you see that it is in preparation. It hasn't actually been yet, but it is in preparation to be lifted out of the water. They're starting to attach ropes to it and such forth. By the way, Loft isn't actually back yet because the chicken hut can walk way faster than he can. So what would y'all like to do?
Oh, well, I'll try it up to, that's assuming there's a plank still available to get onto the ship and find the captain and see if we can take a look at the damages and see what we can do about it.
And you are immediately greeted, and by you, I mean Tix, is immediately greeted by Duncan, who is so happy to see you as she comes running out and she says, "Oh, my little Tix, it's so good to be seeing you."
It's great to be back, Duncan. Loft has already visited us about the damages, and we're here to see if we can rectify that for your sweet self quite quickly.
Well, I am ever so glad that you came. I wanted to meet you in person, but I didn't know where to find you. You're walking off in that great big walking thing. Pinton, I would like you to make two things, a perception check and an arcana check.
Okay. All right. Step 1, perception. Oh, no. He's clueless.
Okay, that's good.
And, okay. The Arcana, though, is a 19 plus whatever my bonus is, if that's important.
I'll let you decide whether that was a good thing or a bad thing, but whatever, you almost heard something, but you couldn't quite catch it. But then, for just a moment, you start to lose control of the chicken hut. Like it starts to, like one of the legs starts to rear up, and Duncan is like just standing off the gangplank, and like you see her look on her face like, huh? And then you like tighten your grip on the skull, and it boom, goes back down, and you master it once again. But for a moment, you did not have control of this hut.
Huh.
But now it seems fine.
All right. Well, I'm going to hands off the controls and just let it sit so we can get onto the boat and what have you.
Y'all make your way back up to the boat and describe how you would like to attempt, and if anyone else would like to do something as well, how you would like to attempt to fix this damaged boat by acid of spider.
Well, I for one, was planning on using... I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to guide Pinton to where the battle was, where I killed the 2 spiders, and show him the direct spots of the damage.
Okay. That is not hard to find, as it happened in Duncan's quarters.
Right. Well, I'm more concerned. The pressing issue, I think, is where it's taking on water, so I'd like to go there first.
That is directly underneath, because during the battle, it actually rolled 2 1s, which means it kept going in alien blood style fashion, and did actually damage the superstructure, as it were.
Right.
And while it was not powerful enough, especially after going through one floor, to actually like eat a full hole, it has damaged it, and it is slowly kind of seeping water. And you actually see a very disgruntled Brumio and Tun down there, and they both got buckets, and they're just kind of sloshing it up and taking it, and emptying it out.
Okay. Is it small holes? Is it about what's the size of the damage?
It is small. What it is it's the wood is like pockmarked. And so it's just like porous now, if you think about it like that. And so it's just kind of seeping through, plus the tar or whatever was used to fuse the two boards together is slightly, eroded. And so it's
Okay.
kind of seeping in through there as well.
All right. I just step right into the water, careless of whatever's going on there. I warm up my hands. I place my hands on the places where it's pockmarked and slowly make my way along it using my mending spell, my mending cantrip.
And I would like you to describe what that looks like when you do that.
Basically, it's kind of like look like I'm wiping away the damage slowly, just very slowly, just like an inch every few seconds. Just wiping my hands over the area because it's a cantrip, so doesn't work very fast. But just basically wiping away the damage. Like one side it's damaged, the other side of my hand the damage is gone, at least greatly reduced and practically like new.
Wax on, wax off.
Yeah.
And y'all watch this, and it's a very fascinating thing to see as he walks back and forth through this water, and Tuntun and Brumio stop and just kind of stare at you as you walk back and forth, and you could just see whoosh, whoosh, whoosh as slowly it knits itself back together. And I want everyone except for Merezi to make a perception check.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, not you, Merezi.
That is a 12 for Tix.
Okay.
13.
13. Okay. The reason that you did not roll, Merezi, is because you have a little thing called danger sense, which means you cannot be caught by surprise, regardless. And your years of combat training from your mother training you in the ways of a barbarian just clamor in your head. And boop, 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 you are not wearing your scale mail armor. However, in the event in question only rolled a 10.
Yes, you cannot. I have a 12 armor class currently, so...
Yes. And your dexterity bonus does count because with your danger sense, you do get to use it. And you are not caught flat-footed. So what happens is you all see Merezi just standing there, and she's watching just in fascination like the rest of you. And then suddenly her head just jerks back, and a dagger, black as night, just thuds into the wall behind y'all. And I need everyone to roll for initiative.
Oh boy.
By the one eye of Grump.
You're a one-eyed grump?
I said that kind of weird. I'm trying to say more character things.
That's cool.
I don't know.
That's all right.
Grumsh. G-R.
Oh, Grumsh. Grumsh.
Grumsh.
Grump. A 2 for me.
Okay.
So 13
20
for
20
Tix.
21 for Penton.
Okay. And a 2 for Merezi. And you'd think that you couldn't roll worse than that, but the person in question actually did. As you whip around, you see a figure wearing dark leather armor, and they seem to be stepping out of the shadows, and it is unmistakably a drow. And Pinson, what would you like to do?
All right. Let's see. Well, I'm in the middle of a spell right now, but I guess I'll stop doing that since their lives are in danger. And I will. I don't want to kill him outright if we can try and get some information from him. But I suppose one isn't gonna take him out completely. I'm gonna send a pair of magic missiles his way. All right. I hope he doesn't have any kind of magical protection. All right, and it'll be enhanced by my my dragon boost.
Okay.
That wasn't a good roll. That's 5 and 6. Total of 12.
Total of 12. So your infused magic missiles slam into him, and I would like you to... Well, actually, I'm going to hold off on that in a minute. Let's get to Tix. Tix, what would you like to do?
Tix is immediately going to cast Shield of Faith, thus raising his armor class by 2 points from 18 to 20.
So in this, it's not completely dark down here, and of course all of you have low light vision, but suddenly the magic missile flares up, and suddenly this energy of holy energy flares up, and you actually see the drow, wince just a little bit, and that actually brings it to you, Merezi.
I am a simple orc. And I assume, based on the very slight, you could almost call it paranoia of constant attack, or the general idea that someone is out to get me, I have my halberd, and I'd like to kill him with that halberd.
Unless you tell me otherwise, I always assume you have your halberd.
Yes.
So, roll to attack.
Let's see. 13.
13. I am afraid that will not hit.
Didn't think so.
He is very spry, and he is wearing leather armor, so he is able to dodge out of the way. He looks at all of you, and he actually is going to turn and run. And actually, that ticks...
Does that inspire?
Well, it does get... Well, you get an attack of opportunity. Both Penton and Tix, you are not right next to him.
Right.
So y'all do not get one. But, Merezi, you sure are. So you get to roll to attack.
Yes, I got a 22.
A 22. That will hit.
Let's see. 11 damage of health.
11 damage. You remember something your mother once told you, which is, remember, when they are an enemy, every place you can strike is a good one. And when he turns to move, you just bury your halberd into his shoulder, and he screams and stumbles. He is still moving, though. He is very injured. You see red blood coursing out and mixing with the water down below. And that will actually bring us back to Benton.
All right.
Yes.
I am pretty fast. I'm going to see if I can grab him before he can get away.
You absolutely can do that. It is not far, though he is moving quickly.
All right.
Does he get like a disadvantage because he's hurt bad?
And as a matter of fact, as I'm running at him, I'm going to kick on my Holy Radiance. And while it won't really do any damage, he is drow, so I don't know what light does to drow. As far as like their vision or what have you, but I'm gonna kick that on and hope it makes it worse for him. All right, should I roll for an attack then to run and grab him?
If you're trying to grab him, that's essentially a grapple. So you're rolling to grapple.
All right. 13.
That's not quite going to do it. Though you definitely see that he's not liking that light. He's definitely shying away from it and wincing as he's trying to run for the exit. And that will bring it to Tix.
And I will move up, cast Inflict Minor Wounds on it.
Roll to touch.
And that is a 16.
16. That hits. How much damage does that do?
It does 1d8.
1d8. All right.
That's 6 points of damage.
That is 29 points of damage. You want to know how many hit points he had? 25.
Oh.
With that, you touch in the back, and where you touch, you see tendrils of dark energy racing up to the wound that Merezi made, and it just... And you actually hear his heart stop, and he just, boom, falls face first into the water, and he is dead.
Well, he is a little more fragile than I thought he would be.
Check his body for gold and letters.
Check the corners for other assailants.
Good idea. I'll take a look around while you do whatever you want to do with that.
Perception check.
Okay. Give me that roll.
That is a 14 again.
14. You can't see anything. You thought maybe you saw something near the entrance, but it's hard to tell.
I will move closer to the entrance. Slowly.
You take a peek outside, and you can see some people moving, various crew members moving towards y'all because they heard the commotion. And you also notice there is quite a few people who seem to be attempting to take your hut.
I yell out
Really?
to the others that some people are trying to take the hut and go charging towards them with my axe out.
Okay.
Do I get a surprise attack on anybody?
Well, do you want to attack them with your axe? You are in a city, and obviously this is your property, but I'm just letting you know that might get a little dicey if you just start laying into people with your axe.
I'll swing with the flat of the blade at the nearest person that is trying to abscond with the hut and do non-lethal damage.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead and get a free attack on that before anything else happens.
And that is a 19.
19. You bring it down and thwack! And this half-elf who was, he was wrapping the hut's legs up. No one seems to have, as far as you can tell, no one seems to have gone inside it. And it looks like they were trying to tip it over and just literally carry it because it's, especially for a lot of people, it's not that heavy. Maybe weighs a few 100 pounds. And you smack him with it, and he falls down like ah, and he hits the dirt, and you knock him senseless.
I yell out in my loud gnome voice, "Gentlemen, demi beings, it is time for you to not be here."
And what you take to be the leader, and you actually recognize him, especially because he's so distinctive. He's actually an aquatic elf. This is definitely not something you normally see. He is an aquatic elf. He was the one who was shouting yesterday or earlier today that he was looking to buy magic items when y'all walked off the dock.
I sensed Loft's hands in this one more time. You might have to do something about removing those.
And he says, what is the meaning of this? So why do you attack my associates?
You are taking our hut that is not your property. Care to explain yourself quickly?
Oh, well, my good sir, this is a terrible misunderstanding. I was given to understand that this hut was being taken as, shall we say, repossession.
By who?
Of course, by the fine owner of the Pierce Whistle. Had said that this was in lieu of services rendered for failure to payment in the order of 1,000 gold.
I'll walk up during this conversation. Services are being rendered right now, so you can be on your way, sir.
And the bill has been paid.
Okay, he looks at you, and he looks at, I assume, Morezi, you're coming up from behind?
Yeah, I think Morezi's getting bored of the ship.
And he sees a very large half-orc coming up behind all of you. And adventurers have a different look to them. Whether they're gnome or half-orc, they just look more dangerous. And he goes, well, clearly, this is a terrible misunderstanding. Sir, would you unbind their domicile, I suppose? And the half-elf that you knocked down pulls out a knife, and he starts cutting away the rope.
I want to walk up to the aquatic elf and have a little close-up conversation with him. Listen, just so you know, you might want to spread the word that there are some delicate and probably explosive things inside that hut, so you might want to warn off anyone else from trying to mess with it. And just use my bluff and try and really put forward the point.
Okay, roll for that.
26.
He takes 4 steps back from you, and more importantly from the hut, and he goes, it was never my intention to upset any clearly a powerful spellcaster such as yourself or any of your items, but sir, if you do wish to come and speak with me later, I would be more than happy to treat with you. And he winks at you, which is somewhat ineffectual because he's backing away at the same time. And he actually pulls out like literally a calling card that is not unknown in this kingdom, and he kind of flicks it towards you, but he's unwilling to move back towards the hut. And he and his associates begin retreating.
Just spread the word. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Master Pint, I think we should, at our leisure, make a bill of our own for services rendered and deliver it to Loft for inconveniences.
An inconvenience fee. I'll have to see about that.
Yeah, so you probably want to get Morezi to write it.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
I'll find some crayons for her.
Like your face.
and angry face emoji and little daggers and that sort of thing. And Merezi, by the way, you notice that Aki has actually scrabbled off your shoulders and is currently eating some rats that were in the undercarriage of the boat.
That's good.
Yes, he has great. I'm sorry, it's she, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
she's a girl.
She has greatly enjoyed the rats on the trip and was greatly appreciated by the crew. By the way,
Wonder if we can use Aki's pest control as a small add-on to all of the other services that we have given so graciously.
I like this half-orc more and more every day.
Plus,
I am glad.
plus, apparently, we're starting a business called the Chicken Hut. It's like a food hut. Street side food hut.
well, y'all don't have a team name yet, the way some other adventuring groups do. So maybe y'all are the Chicken Hut.
Oh, I don't like that. I don't know about that.
With that, we cut to Osokai and Zuana. You are about a mile and a half outside of the city. Dusk is just coming down, and you are with Zuana, and she says, "It is not far from here. If we go inside, you will need to be disguised.
Interesting.
I think that I can help. I can lend you my disguise that I did before."
Disguise. Oh, her headdress. That would make me an awfully large wood elf.
Well, the disguise is whatever you choose. You simply concentrate. You remember you took on the form of a dwarf the last time.
Perhaps something a little less taxing? A bear?
You could certainly take on the appearance of a bear, and that would simply be my companion, as I am a druid of fashion.
It is settled.
Very well.
Become your bear.
And she smiles, and she takes off her headdress, and she places it on your head. And there's a moment, and then you feel, and it's, if anyone happens to be watching this, you look like a bear who's standing on two legs. And it appears that you've got a braiding in your, behind your ear, which is there's always some element of the headgear, as it were, in whatever disguise you choose. But you are a giant black bear that is relatively your size.
Does this bear speak normally, if it does speak?
That's entirely up to you. The disguise is 100% cosmetic.
Well, then I guess I'd better tap in to my more primal nature and begin growling like a bear.
Now, before you walk in, I just want to tell y'all something very quickly, which is when things were going down on the island, there was a moment where Penton was holding on to the silver spike of the necromancer. And Jackson cried out and said, "Hold on to the spike!" And she ran forward as fast as she could and tackled the necromancer. And it ripped the spike out of his head. And Jackson and the necromancer went down with a crash below. And that was actually what killed the necromancer. And none of y'all saw this because it happened earlier, but a certain boar that had made its way onto the ship let itself be captured by the cook while y'all were loading up the chicken hut, has been sniffing all throughout the countryside and has caught a scent of the creature that killed its master, and it lets out a great boom, 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 and it begins rushing towards you, Osokai, at full speed. And that's where we'll end Chafing Armor 38.
Could you repeat that sound effect
That
one
was an
more time?
amazing boar sound effect. I have never heard something so realistic from a human mouth before. That was amazing.
Well, now you will all be able to put that on your ringtones, if anyone actually used ringtones anymore.
Fantastic.
To find out what happens with that boar and with remunerations for services rendered, tune in next time. And one more thing. Do you all remember we mentioned Duke, who gave us a plug on his Twitch channel? Yeah, he was watching us. He was listening to our show on YouTube, and he said some nice things about it. Well, I wanted to give a shout out to Duke. He's actually got his own Twitch channel, which you can find at twitch.tv/Duke Holly Rude with an R. So everybody check that out and say hi to Duke and tell him that you came over from Chafing Armor.
Duke's the bomb.
Yes.
Whoop.
That's right.
A
That's
cool
right.
Whoop.
dude.
We love all of our listeners. Check out Lee's Twitch. Check out Duke's Twitch. And guys, if you like the show, go to iTunes and give it a 5-star review. That'll help more people find it and realize it's a bunch of big, stupid fun. And who knows, maybe I'll do a Boar Cry just for you. So good night, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
And we
Don't
will,
let the bed bugs bite.
indeed, especially if they're boars, and we will roll with you soon.